it's been a while, but today we'll be taking out the JA37C, otherwise known as the Jagdwagen. Now, as for 11.3, I think it's a really, really solid 11.3, probably the best that I've played. As for kit, it gets 2 AIM-72s, the dogfight ones, and then 4 9Js. As far as AIM-9s are concerned, it's a bit lackluster for the BR. Planes like the F-4E get better IR missiles than you. In the range of the 9Js are just overall lacking. So I wouldn't expect to get tons of kills from them. You have to play like an ambush plane and come top down. Now your main kills are going to come from the AIM-72 Sparrows. They're your main armament that you get for this BR. And then on top of everything else that you get for this plane, you also get a very fancy radar. You get TWS, you get post-ocular, a really, really nice radar for this BR, probably the best, along with a radar gun sight because your gun has no tracers. Now, without further ado, let's get into the gameplay and I'll show you everything. Now, as you can see, the one downside of this Wagen is the fuel burn. It is an incredibly fast plane. It makes a ton of power. Fuel burn is incredible, so I recommend taking the drop tank and a full fuel load. This thing just eats through it. In most cases, you'll finish an RTB with 5 to 10 minutes left, which is only like a minute or two in burn. Now, as you can see, this is the incredible radar at work here. Not any other plane of this BR is gonna have a radar close to matching this. Now I'm gonna fly up here and get a quick kill with the MiG-25 spam going around. It is very easy to get a quick 2 kills, especially at these people at altitude. Especially with the Fox 3 BR. So easy to break locked. The radar is eh. I do not recommend it. The RWR is eh. I really don't recommend it. It's... How do I keep saying recommend? It's an eh RWR. It at least gives you launch warning. It has the necessities that you need. But the 4 sector warning is terrible. Now, if it wasn't for that JB, I would have went for that MiG-25 up there. Would have gotten a free kill before jumping down this guy right here. Now you're about to witness the terrible range of that missile. Never mind. Now, as you can see, this Sparrows are such free kills in this plane. It is very, very easy. If you position yourself right, it is incredibly easy to get those Sparrow kills, to get the AIM-9J kills that you need. It's all about positioning with the Wagens. If you cannot position yourself correctly, you are not going to get free kills. But the downside, as you can see, with having all this fuel, is it's incredibly heavy. It's on flight performance until you get it to around 12 points or so. The countermeasures, it's lackluster compared to the AJ37 that gets in its flare pod 320 shaft and speak of the devil, an AJ37 and 24 flares. And the flares are single pop, they're not dual pop like on the Activating right here. Now, these guys are just gonna spam the hell out of this missile. Let's just get get a free Sparrow kill. I mean, it's not notching, free kill. Now we have 2 M9Js left. But one of the things I do also want to touch on is this stock grind of this plane. The stock grind of this plane is horrendous. You only get 2 9Js to start, then later on you get 9Bs, but then you have to go through rank 2 before you can get the 9Js. And only then can you start researching towards the end to get the AIM-7 E2s. In this plane, you play it way differently once you get the Sparrows. Now, I'm gonna try and get a little dogfight over here. Clearly doesn't want to take it. Most likely on low fuel. Now we're gonna run this guy down. I'm not gonna fire my 9Js, it's in F5. And I'm just gonna have him go defensive. Never mind, man decided he wanted a sip of water. Now we're gonna switch back with TWS here, and this is another fantastic thing with this radar. Is since it's a pulse-Doppler radar, it's really easy to find everyone. Extremely easy. Now I would want to get this nose back around. Another thing I like doing right there is just head on the MiG-25s. They're not the brightest players. It is extremely easy to take that hot on and just obliterate them. And if you know anything about the MiG-25, just that plane especially will not be flying on one way. It is the budget man's F-15, if you will. Now, as you can see, even with a terrible start, 3 kills. It is a really incredible grinder for the Swedish tech tree. I highly recommend Talisman in this. Now, as you can see, here's the JAB, which is going to be on a full fuel load. Well, I'm going to start pulling a bit harder here, jamming what you would call the Wes, playing energy, because he can't do this all day long. He let all his speed in that really tight instantaneous turn. I can just next G over here. And I can just he's gonna start stalling out. I'm gonna pitch straight up with the rest of my energy and come straight down on top of him. And if I saved one of my Sparrows, for this case in particular, I would just Sparrow him. Now I'm gonna drop the landing flaps here and drop it right down on top of him. radar gun sight on this thing. The traceless belts are not good either, but as you can see right there, even with table positioning and paid actors, a 4-kill game is incredibly easy to come across and get. Now, let's go into the next match and see what we can pull off over there. Real quick, if you're curious, without premium time, by the way, 35k SO, but 15k research, an incredible grinder. Now we're going to be flying in on Spain, as I like to call it, Pain. You're going to want to, at least the way I like to play, is fly over the water. As if you're experienced, you'll know a lot of people like to fly over this mountain, being parallel to them, but of course a bit offset. It allows everyone to rush in over there, and you can just come in from behind and get a ton of free kills. Now, the matchmaker for this plane is incredibly good for the moment. It's going to be 10-7 to 10-3 most games. You're going to be getting a lot of down tiers along with many MiG-25 players. Now, the problem with playing altitude here, as you see, is you're going to get pushed defensive quite a lot. But because of the matchmaker that this thing has, the only real plane that is going to be able to fight you at altitude is going to be the F4E, which that thing on its own is already really sad. It's a non-post-Doppler radar. It is going to pick up the chaff incredibly quickly. Now, a nice thing I like to do with this is hunt down the MiG-25s. The MiG-25 spam is outrageous, and this thing isn't. It's not as fast as the MiG-25, but it has the engine to absolutely throw down with these kinds of planes. I can just pitch straight up like this, and in a second, just acquire lock. This guy is not going that fast. Ox 1, and that thing is going to have enough energy, especially at 20,000 feet, to just pull in and give us a nice, juicy kill. There we go. I was getting a little concerned there that Sparrow was going to fail at its job. And that brings you around to another thing, if you've noticed. Nothing of this BR has a post-Doppler radar. You're going to pick everyone up very easily. And now that we took the high altitude flyers up out, you know, we have this entire space, and Warthinner players don't have a neck. I'm going to be able to dive on this F8 and get a free inline J off. Let that thing glide itself in. Free kill, as you can see. Head on right there. There's no point. Any interest. There's no point for you to take that head on. There's never gonna be a point to take that. The traceless belts make it incredibly difficult to aim. You're not gonna be anywhere. Now, same strategy. We're gonna come on from our right side and swoop in. The only competition like at these altitudes are gonna be the MiG-25s. The smart MiG-25 players at most should only be carrying 2 radar R40Ds, because if you want to maximize your killing potential, you take 1 TD after that, the utility, and then after that, you'll take, you know, probably a rack of R60s, and I can just sit up here and drain them of all their radar missiles. Go defensive a bit. Now that our authority has lost track, I have free space to recommit here. Start pulling back in and reacquire that lock. Now, this radar is not by any means immune to things like ghosting or anything of that sort. Now, I could launch the spare off, but it's an E2. Let's be honest, an E2 is not going to be hitting that. If it was a 7F, that range, I'd be firing this. Now, I have entire range of altitude. Yes, there's a MiG-25 coming down and all these other planes, but they have no gun. You don't have to worry about these foes once they get their early launches off. It is incredibly free pickings. Launching this tornado. Sad plane, terrible premium. Okay. That spare was a failure. Let that MiG do his thing. That's gonna pull in. And that's a kill. I really like watching these cannons. They're really satisfying to the eye. Now, in a case like that, you're not guaranteed that you kill it. There's the J7, fire head on, blocking the tornado. Still flaring. You gotta be incredibly aware of your surroundings in this plane. Their lack of flares does not give you any sort of room. Now, that tornado saw me hunting down. I stopped recording because I thought this was going to be a dead match of nothing but continuous chasing. And to a degree, it was going to be. Now, those MiG-25s are going to camp the base. There is an F5 just sitting here, Jade out. I hate these kinds of players. Like, you risk landing to get more fuel and to rearm. It is not my fault if I catch you with your pants down and you are on the ground. You need to be the one with better trigger discipline. Now, they saw me leave. I may only have guns left. But this is an incredibly difficult now I'm gonna pull this guy into the right fight. He's never gonna be winning that. I just have the lift, the compression, and the engine to beat him in this. I just keep my speed way better than he does. But now, I can just run him down. And he just crashes. How lovely are these players. Now, I'm going to head towards their main airfield. May sound counterintuitive, but here's the thing. Right into their main airfield, I can catch these MiG-25s with their pants down. Right as they take off, I'm low fuel. they're on max fuel most likely, because they want to stay going Mach 3. And this is what I mean. There's nothing this guy can do. He only has missiles. Incredibly freaky. GG's to him. Now, 3 kills. I gunned that tornado down previously. This guy's a lot smarter of a MiG-25 player. He knows that I can't do anything to him. Now, I'm on low fuel here. I don't want to go chasing a full fueled MiG-25. And our reward, 20k RP. Incredible grinder. And if you really want proof, no premium account and no talisman. It is an incredible grinder that I really implore people to get. Its kit is not the best for its battle rating, but its mix of just such great fight performance and its missile kit, especially with that radar, just makes it incredibly potent. I just highly suggest you guys pick this thing up and grind for it. It is incredible for grinding out the Swish Tech Tree. And another plane I definitely recommend checking out, and I'll do a video on it later, is the JA37. Really underrated plane. Another vegan I incredibly recommend you get. Now, if you're looking to grind, definitely talisman the JA37C. Do not get the DI vegan. It is not worth it in any degree. If you catch the anniversary sale, you can talisman this thing for half the amount, and you'll just have a much easier time. Now, thank you everyone for tuning in. I hate saying this, but remember to like and subscribe. I like to not cherry pick games, just go into a few matches, like 5 or so games that I've already have experience in with this plane, and just record them. And if I do really bad in them, of course, won't use them. But to me, it lets you guys see an actual semblance of how the matchmaker is like. And granted, yes, 5 matches is enough for this, but with the MiG-25 spam going on, it's probably going to remain like this for a few days. Now, y'all have a good one. Stay safe. I'll catch you the next one.